There are thousands of apologetics out there trying to bend the historical narrative or the dates to try and say that by a different calendar, she'd be 18 or 19 or something like that. But as I said, if anybody just wants to verify that, it's as simple as now just searching up the most basic Islamic sources, sunnah.com, which is the biggest branch of Islam. So I would suggest anybody that if somebody tells you or tries to gatekeep this information, because it brings Islam down on its knees, this itself, because if there's something flawed in the Quran, which they consider verbatim to be the word of God, and then as Hitchens said, Islam makes such big claims for itself that Muhammad is meant to be an eternal, timeless example of a human being to follow, then this brings Islam down on its knees in itself, because he would be in jail today. He'd be on sex registers. He would not be somebody who is kind of revered by all these people around the world. And yeah, I would just, anybody that tries to shut this down, it was 20 or 30 years ago, it was permissible to say, oh, you don't speak Arabic, you don't know what you're talking about, these are lies. But I think with the power of the internet now and people like ex-Muslim content creators out there who are saying this in pretty much every language now, it is very, very hard to deny the fact that this is within their own scriptures. And I see them scrambling to try and make changes to these as well, or try and make it more palatable to a Western audience by adding brackets when it talks about things like wife beating. They try and add in brackets lightly or gently and things like that. But again, I think it's too little too late. The damage has been done.
And of course, like, none of this is to say that all Muslims marry kids or rape children. Like, that's obviously not the case. But, from what you're saying, it seems that there is a legal and religious basis for child marriage.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. I would say, and I say this a lot in whenever I do have these conversations, because they are difficult conversations. And, I come from this background myself. I would say a lot of the time, many Muslims are even ignorant of these facts, as I was, because you really have to kind of want to get to grips with your religion. And again, it's not many people do it in their first language when this is all mystified in Arabic. But a lot of Muslim, especially moderate Muslims or liberal Muslims, they are so much better than Islam, but because they don't know that, it actually has tenets as dark as this within them. But it only takes you to kind of call a spade when you see something happening like in Afghanistan with the Taliban coming into power, and then them banning girls from going to school, and them child marriage happening all over the place in the same kind of context that you see it play out in Muhammad's example.